I recently started playing Doom: The Dark Ages, and something threw me off. I had more fun with it than I had with Eternal. Now don't get me wrong, Eternal's the better game. I know that, and I love it. So why did I feel more satisfied playing Dark Ages? Figuring out this sent me down a rabbit hole, and the answer isn't what I expected. It's 1993. Most games are slow, predictable. The industry is still learning how to move in 3 dimensions. And then, id Software releases Doom. The success is instant. But why is it such a hit? It's because they pulled off what felt impossible back then. Where others played it safe, Doom delivered speed and pure adrenaline. Technically, it was a knockout punch. Smooth 3D, light, shadow, endless corridors that seemed to stretch forever. But beyond technology, the real innovation was the philosophy. Move forward, shoot, survive. Simple, but brutally effective. The Doom guy had no tragic backstory. He wasn't the talkative type of hero. He was us, or rather, a version of ourselves stripped of hesitation and fear. In a world that was already becoming more complex, Doom offered comforting clarity. Demons are evil. You stop them. That's all. No questions. Just a single clear mission. In 1993, Doom is a radical statement, and by stripping out unnecessary storytelling, the game left space for the player's own imagination and story. If we put aside the demons for a moment, why does it feel so good to simply move in this game? 3 reasons. You have complete freedom to move and shoot however you want. The Doom guy's purpose aligns with your objective. There's no friction between what you want to do, shoot things, and what the character wants to do. Then the difficulty stays in that sweet spot. Too hard, you get anxious. Too easy, you get bored. It starts simple, with basic enemies. You build confidence, then gradually the game scales up as you do. And finally, the controls are so responsive that you only need to react to what is happening and stop thinking. The challenge is clear. The solution is clear. The feedback is immediate. People turn to games specifically when they feel powerless in real life, because here, your skill actually determines the outcome. That's the formula that made Doom legendary. Speed, control, instant feedback. Remember that, because in 2004, id Software did something I still can't fully explain. They threw almost all of it away. After that, the series set out into new territory. Doom 3 in 2004 took a bold turn into survival horror. The atmosphere nailed it. The tension was real. Any shadow could be death. It was an intense game, just in a very different way. Here, the driving philosophy was survival in the face of fear, overcoming anxiety. You move forward with a flashlight in one hand, but you can't aim and light the way at the same time. You have to choose, see or defend yourself. I respect Doom 3 more than I like it. The atmosphere is incredible. The flashlight thing is clever, but I never once felt like the Slayer. You could sense that something had been lost, that feeling of being the hunter, not the prey. But id Software dared to try something new, a slower, more psychological experience. And then, silence. For years, the Slayer slept, and people wondered, was Doom finished? But in 2016,
rip and tear until it is done.
id Software took us by surprise and burst back onto the scene, yelling to the world, Doom is back. Doom 2016 redefined what it means to be on the offensive in a first-person shooter. The mantra is push forward combat. Standing still means death. The game makes you move, makes you the aggressor. To understand why it's so radical, we have to talk about what came before it. Think about the shooters from the modern warfare era. What's the core loop? Scarcity. Ammo is precious. Health doesn't come easy. You stare at your rocket launcher and think, I should probably save this. And that hesitation is decision fatigue. Doom looked at that model and flipped the table. In Doom, resources are inside the enemies. This is the push forward I talked about. Low on health? Don't retreat. Attack. Out of ammo? Pull out the chainsaw, because that's how you reload. Knowing all that design theory still didn't explain why I'd look up and realize 3 hours had vanished while playing. For that, we have to start talking about what is happening inside your brain. It all comes down to one molecule: dopamine. Dopamine is often misunderstood as the pleasure molecule, but it is really about motivation and learning. It's your brain's way of saying, "That worked, do it again." Every time you land a hit, you get a sound. Every time you glory kill, you get a visual explosion of health pickups. These are micro rewards. Your brain recognizes the successful action and gives you a little pulse of satisfaction. In Doom, you know you are going to get into a fight, but you don't know exactly which combination of demons will spawn, or exactly how the fight will play out. The brain stays in anticipation. When you survive an encounter by the skin of your teeth, the dopamine payoff is massive, because the outcome wasn't guaranteed. Winning a non-violent game activates general reward processing. Winning a violent one? It specifically lights up the region tied to habit formation and motor learning. It's the same region that activates for musicians mastering a complex piece, or athletes mastering a sport. It's important to be clear here. This doesn't mean the game is training you to be violent in real life. It means the brain is treating Doom like a high-performance skill that it wants to perfect. Then there's the adrenaline. Heart rate up, focus sharpened, blood pressure rising, the full signature of a life-or-death situation like a car accident. In Doom, it feels like exhilaration. Same activation, same body. The only difference is control. The danger is real enough to feel. The mastery is real enough to enjoy it. If Doom 2016 was a statement, Doom Eternal improved the formula. The gameplay complexity and depth is nothing short of genius. Now, it's not just about charging in headfirst, it's about charging in smart. Every move is part of a brutal dance. You dash, double jump, set enemies ablaze to gain armor, slice them with the chainsaw for ammo, and rip through them with glory kills to survive. Combat becomes a kind of violent chess match. Every demon has its own strengths and weaknesses, and every encounter asks you to think fast and adept. The result is pure adrenaline, non-stop speed paired with tactical mastery. The moment you go from panic to total control, that's what video game nirvana feels like. And then there's that moment when the game disappears, when time dissolves, when you're no longer thinking and only doing. We've all experienced that. One fight turns into 2, then 5. This is what we call the state of flow. You're immersed in a world of instinct and reflexes. Nothing exists but the next demon in your sights. You've probably heard this term before. It's that feeling when you are so completely absorbed in an activity that you lose your sense of self-consciousness. And Doom is a machine engineered to put you there. Picture a typical 5-second exchange. It usually goes like this. You perceive a threat, say a Hell Knight rushing you. You instinctively move to reposition. You fire your weapon. You see the demon stumble. And then you execute a finishing move, a glory kill. And those glory kills aren't just for show. They are core to the gameplay, rewarding you with health for taking risks. The game is basically screaming at you. Danger is your greatest resource, and Mick Gordon's industrial metal is the pounding heart of all that controlled fury. There's a double catharsis here, the release of violence, but also the satisfaction of mastering this deadly dance, where every kill refuels you for the next round. Level design, enemy patterns, it's all crafted to keep you balanced right on that knife's edge. You are never safe, but also never overwhelmed. Other games make you pause, second guess, but Doom makes every second a test. And when you hit that flow, you become the Slayer, for one suspended instant. But somewhere inside all that elegance, the game stopped feeling like Doom to me. The Slayer I'd known was a tank who walked into hell and made hell submit. 2016 understood this. Push-forward combat made you aggressive. You were unstoppable. Eternal kept the aggression and added gymnastics. It traded weight for agility. And weight was the whole point. The Slayer wasn't supposed to dance around demons. The Slayer was supposed to be the worst thing in the room. Eternal is a great game, but it's a game that drifted from a specific fantasy I'd been buying into for years. All those double jumps and swinging off bars like a monkey, something about it made me uncomfortable. And for a long time, I assumed I was just getting old, that the game had moved on and I hadn't. That feeling became definitive when I started watching people who'd mastered Eternal. I was impressed, but I was also alienated, because it wasn't a get good problem. The question those videos were really asking me was, is this the kind of game I want to play? We've got the dopamine, the flow, the way every kill loops back into the next. That explains why Doom is satisfying. It doesn't explain why people feel better afterward. You could say that it's just blowing off steam, but it goes deeper. If you watch someone play Doom, it looks stressful. There is screaming, explosions, blood. Logic says it should make you anxious, but the research says the opposite. The players felt more stressed. They registered the intensity, but their bodies were physically relaxing. This is the difference between distress and eustress. What Doom actually gives us is eustress, positive stress. It hands you a stress response and then hands you the tools to resolve it, over and over for hours. When the Marauder appears with his split-second parry window, your pulse spikes. When you nail the timing and watch him stagger, it drops. What flips the experience from horrible to enjoyable is agency. Stress without control is distress. Stress with control is something else entirely. Same hormones, opposite meaning. I've been throwing around the word catharsis, the idea that playing Doom opens a valve so we don't explode. Dating back to Aristotle and Freud, the theory says simulating violence purges aggressive feelings. The data doesn't really support that. Violent games don't reliably reduce aggression. Some studies suggest they might even increase short-term aggressive responses. So why do players swear it helps them calm down? Recent research suggests a distinction. Players aren't experiencing catharsis. They are experiencing mood repair through mastery. When you feel better after Doom, it's because the game puts you in a flow state. I talked about that earlier. You clear a challenging arena, and the relief you feel isn't from the bloodshed. It's from having handled it. You'd likely get a similar boost from any high-intensity, non-violent game offering the same level of challenge. And now, we arrive at Doom, the Dark Ages. The game throws the Slayer into a new time period. It drags him and us back to the source, to the raw beginnings where myth and reality blur, to kingdoms falling and legends being forged in blood. In the Dark Ages, I felt something I hadn't felt since 2016. I felt heavy. I felt like the thing the demons should be afraid of, not a thing dodging around them. Dark Ages isn't a perfect game. The level design wanders. The dragon sections are exactly as silly as you've heard. The mech segments are tasteless. But it gets the one thing right that I needed to get right. Combat is grounded, brutal. So let me finally answer the question I opened with. Why did Dark Ages satisfy me more than Eternal? Go back to the very first thing we talked about. The reason Doom feels good is because your goal and the Slayer's goal are the same. No friction. You want to be the predator, and the game hands you the body of one. And Eternal is the moment my desire and the Slayer's behavior split apart. Eternal is the better game. Dark Ages is the better fantasy. In this world, the Slayer is less a sci-fi super soldier and more like a mythic titan. Here, every battle is dirty, desperate, and personal. There's no safety in high-tech armor. It's grit, steel, muscle, and pure resolve. And once again, Doom invites us to stand alone, to rage, to fight, to win, or die trying. It's a place where the past and the future clash, where the Slayer's eternal war breaks free of time, suggesting that the Slayer is not bound to an era. He is bound to the conflict itself. What if the fight wasn't complicated? No hesitation, no moral gray zones. From the original pixelated nightmare to the latest games, Doom isn't about politics, guilt, or ethical debates. It's about you, alone, against evil incarnate. So many games force us to weigh choices, Paragon or Renegade, Mercy or Mayhem. But Doom gives us a rare gift, a world where the right thing is unambiguous. Demons are evil. Your mission, end them. It's a moral escape, where for once, your duty isn't shrouded in doubt. Here, catharsis is simple. Pull the trigger, save the world. We all feel anger, frustration, stress that makes you want to scream. So where do you put it all? For millions of players, Doom is that place. Here, your rage isn't something to fear. You chain a glory kill, the demon crumbles, and something in you exhales. It's paradoxical. A game this wild, this savage, leaves us more at peace. Because in Doom, you are in control over those negative feelings. And sometimes, that's exactly what we need. Now, let's talk about the Doom Slayer himself. Or rather, we need to talk about how the idea of the man in the helmet has changed, and why that change is important. If you go back to the original Doom in 1993, the protagonist was just Doom Guy. He was a generic soldier. He was a blank slate, dropped into hell with no real context. But fast forward to Doom 2016, and especially Doom Eternal, and ID Software updated the mythology. They transformed him into the Doom Slayer. According to the new lore, he is an ancient warrior who has fought hell across millennia. Why does this backstory matter? It provides narrative coherence. Think about the dissonance you feel in other games. You play a character who is supposedly just a normal guy, but then you proceed to slaughter hundreds of people and absorb bullets like a sponge. There is friction there. Your brain knows the narrative doesn't match the action. In Doom, that friction is gone. The narrative framing aligns perfectly with the mechanical reality of the game, where you are, effectively, invincible. What is Doom at its core, if not a myth? Look at the symbolism woven throughout every Doom game. The demons are ancient fears, are nightmares given form, and the Slayer's journey is a pilgrimage through hell, tapping into the most primal roots of violence and courage. He's more than just a soldier with a big gun. He's an archetype, a symbol of struggle, reborn in every age. But Doom takes this even further. The Slayer becomes less a person and more a force of nature. He doesn't fight for glory or revenge. He fights because someone must. This is the power of the Slayer myth. It doesn't matter the setting. High-tech bases, lost medieval kingdoms, the heart of hell itself. As long as evil rises, the Slayer returns. The Slayer gives us permission to channel our inner strength, to face chaos, and actually win. Doom's philosophy has shaped generations of shooters, and maybe the way we think about games themselves. From its very first level, Doom made one thing clear. The player is at the center. No hand-holding, no pretension, just movement and skill. That design DNA, fast, fluid, supercharged with feedback, you'll find it everywhere. In the best arena shooters, the indie boomer shooters, even some of the biggest blockbusters today. But Doom's legacy is more than mechanics. It's the ultimate test of your reflexes. That's why Doom has never gone out of style. Its legacy isn't measured in sales or sequels. It's engraved into how we play and why we keep coming back. The Slayer is a myth, sure, but he's also a mirror, showing us the part of ourselves that refuses to break. The part that stands tall when the world is on fire and says, "Not today." And maybe, in some small way, that spirit sticks with us when the screen goes dark.